What's going on? What's going on? You know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. It is the foreign national, born natural 86. Live and direct, live in effect as usual. The background's a little different, but the message is I am on the road right now. I told some of the people that I spoke to I was going to be headed to Texas, and that's where I am right now. I'll probably be out here till Thursday, as a matter of fact. So, if you could mash that like button, I greatly appreciate it. Do got some very interesting information to dispel to you all today. Um, I talked to a few cats about this yesterday, and I made it a point that I was gonna drop some info on you guys today. Now, what we're gonna talk about pretty much today is it is related to the whole entire passport situation, the state citizen passport, the non-citizen national passport, foreign national passport, whatever you call it. Um, Pretty much at this point, yeah, there's a lot of good information I've learned over the last 2 days just from trying out different things outside of the normal routine. So, again, before we begin, go ahead and mash the like button, man. Let's see what we got here. What's going on, Prof? What up with you? How you feeling, man? Always a pleasure to see you here, support, man. I'm good, man. I can't complain at all. I'm out here relaxing, having a good time, was hanging out with the fellas yesterday. You know what I mean? Just the tacos out here is. Let me tell you something, bro. If there's something the South does right, it's food. Like the food down here is off the rack. It's good, man. We went to I think it was the Taste Bar, if I'm not mistaken, and we had some of the we had a few drinks there. I was talking to our boys, and we had what was it? The Gouda mac and cheese. Man, it was that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I don't really eat a whole lot of cheese like that, but I said, fuck it, I'm out here, you know, out here relaxing. I might as well go ahead and make something happen. But yeah, I did a little bit of mac and cheese yesterday, so that joint was good. And then this morning I had the this today I basically had the breakfast tacos. So they were pretty good too. So food down here is on point. Every time I've coming down south, the food has been great, except Miami. For some weird reason, well, I know why it is. Like in places like Miami with beaches and stuff like that, people are real health conscious. So like a lot of the foods, they don't put as much salts in, and the flavor's not there like it should be. So that's like the only exception. But otherwise, man, you come down south, bro, you gonna get yourself some good food. You might even gain some weight just from eating too much. They serve you nice proportions down here too. So everything's bigger in Texas anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. It's probably not going to be a long video because I'm running off of my. I don't trust like hotel Wi-Fi's and public Wi-Fi's. The motherfuckers can get into your shit. That's another thing too. Don't be getting on public Wi-Fi's from your phone and from your laptop because they can see your shit. They can also hack your shit too. So don't even do that, man. Just use your hotspot and do it like that. But like I said, this video ain't gonna be super long because I don't want to run that shit up and burn my phone out also. So this is what I saw. All right, so look, I decided usually, in a day-to-day routine, I keep the passport card on me. And we know the passport card is our bread and butter pretty much. When we out here operating quote unquote in commerce and when we're not operating in commerce pretty much. But today or yesterday, I decided, you know what? Let me go ahead and try something a little different. Let me go ahead and switch it up a little bit. So I decided to bring this time. All right. So I put the passport card in the house and I was like, ain't no sense of having both of them out because if something happens, both your shit is gone and you're going to be asked out. So I said, let me just leave the passport card home and let me just bring the book. So in my head, I'm thinking the book is probably even stronger than the passport card. What I would think anyway, just from the passport card being what it is, excuse me, the book being what it is. So I decided to bring the book out. So I was like, all right, well, let me try because I heard stories about people that had 4 stars on their passport card going to the airport and being able to get past the metal detector, not having to go to the metal detector. So I'm like, well, that's interesting because when I used it last time, I still had to go through the metal detector. I had a card last time. So this time I brought the book to see if there'd be any difference. So we're waiting in line, and the line leading up to where you got to put your shit on the conveyor belt, take off your shoes, and all that other annoying ass crap you got to do. So we basically standing in line to go through that mess. So before you get in the line, you have to give the agent your passport or your ID or driver's license or whatever. So I basically had my passport booked, and they had like a little scanner. Like you had to put it face down on, I guess, whatever sensors are inside the passport, it reacts to them. So I put the passport face down on a little scanner, and then the dude has like a laptop, like that's what is it, monitor that's facing him, and he's basically looking at it to check the status. So I put mine face down and it beeps, and he says, "Go ahead through." So as I go past him, I peek backwards, right? And now keep in mind, I got the book. I don't have the card right now. So I look back and I saw my passport on the screen. So I'm looking like, oh shit, I might be able to find something on here. So I'm looking like over his shoulder like this and shit, trying not to be too obvious that I'm looking. And it sat on the screen for probably about like 10 seconds. So I got a 10-second glimpse of what I saw. So I saw the passport image, the whole entire image that they scanned, and everything that has right on your face of your book that you have your identification on. So that was on the screen, and then it had some numbers next to it, which I don't know what the numbers meant. And underneath that, it had what is it? It said the word ID, or the letters ID, and underneath it said normal in green, in like a green highlight. So I was wondering, like, that's interesting. No, this could either mean normal as in the U.S. citizen, or it could be normal as in the ID is not flagged or something like that. We're not red flagged. I'm thinking it's probably the red flag thing, but it didn't say anything about citizenship on there at all, which I thought was very interesting also, because if the rumors are true about passports with 4 stars or 5 stars, you being able to go through go around the metal detector. If that was the case, I would think it would say something to the guy right there at the gate, because that's the last guy right before the metal detector pops up, or you got to go through the metal detector. That's the last guy you got to give your identification to. So if it was a situation like that, I'm gonna have to say it probably would be him that would say, "Go stand off to the side," and somebody will pull you up and walk you around. But I think that myth's been busted. I don't think that's the case. So I heard that story, but I think that was bullshit. So I don't think that's the case at all. I think whether you're a national or you're a U.S. citizen, you got to go through the metal detector. Um, I don't know that there's any way to get around it. If I'm wrong, somebody can hit my email. It's right there in the description. So yeah, I got a chance to look, and I saw right on the way he ran the passport, and I saw where it said ID and it said normal in green. So whatever. Take that for what you will. I don't know if there's probably a yellow. I mean, you figured it was green, so there's got to be a red. There's got to be a green, and there's got to be a yellow. There's probably even a black at some point too, which I don't know what that means. That might be black, might be like diplomatic immunity or something like that. Yellow means probably cautious or something like that. Maybe extra, check him extra or something like that, or do an extra search on my man. And then red might be go sit your ass in the office while we interrogate the fuck out. They might even do an anal cavity search for you. They might go in your ass. So I don't know, man. I'm glad my shit wasn't red, because I've been in there scrapping. Fuck that. The moment you put them gloves on, you better guard your grill, because I'm going straight for your jaw. For real. Like, it's crazy. But so yeah, I got through the airport and shit like that. And that was what it was. So boom. Did that, and then everything was cool from there. Now, when I got down here, the first thing I thought was, shit, man, this is Texas, and this is a Second Amendment sanctuary down here. Everybody down here likes the Second Amendment, pretty much. And mostly everybody is packing. So I'm like, shit, well, when I get out here, let me see about grabbing me an arm while I'm there. I might be able to grab something I can't grab back where I'm from and shit. Because for whatever reason, it might not be in stock. You might not be able to buy it for real. You know what I mean? That's a case too. Maryland has a lot of stupid ass restrictions on shit you should be able to get because it looks scary, even though they all do the same goddamn thing, which don't even get me started on that. So anyway, I come down to Texas. I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. Let me go ahead and go up into one of these gun dealers and use my passport to get myself to bear arms, basically. And I talked to matter of fact, hold on, let me catch up real quick. Save my spot right there. I gotta find the hood, bro. Yo, truth be told, bro, like I know some cats around here that would probably end up taking me through the spot for real. Yeah, we'll see what happens though. What up, Taquan? Yeah, I spoke to Taquan yesterday on this, so he knows what I'm about to say. Not all airports operate the same. They should, if that's the case. I mean, crazy, man. You got all this technology coming out, and yet nobody knows what the hell is going on. Nobody knows how to run a passport. Like, we're gonna get into that in a minute, yo. But yeah, that's absolutely a fact, I believe. But what can you do, man? I ain't laughing about that. He probably laughing about the red flag shit, the anal cavity search. I worked at Newark Airport, and it worked completely different than Kennedy and New. Oh, really? So which one was more up to date, like high tech? I would think it was New York because New York's got so much goddamn money or so much fiat or currency of account. What debt have you successfully accepted for value? Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, Jeremiah. I would love to talk to you about that, but I'm not talking about that today. Probably next week, yo. Come back. Check back with me next week. You can still watch, please still watch the stream. And then if you wanted to discuss, we can discuss that next week. But we ain't gonna talk about that today. All right, so boom, back with what I was saying. So I'm like, all right, I'm down here in Texas. Let me see what's really good with some of these arms. So I look on the internet. Me and my mans, we head out to a spot. So this guy has real nice guy, man. The guy's named Manuel. Very, very nice dude, yo. Very people down here very polite from what I've seen, man. Very trustworthy too. This dude was he has a dealership set up with the United States Corporation from out of his house. So this dude has a backyard where he actually built a bench with like a saw, and like he used nail and hammer to basically build the bench, and he's got a giant safe with all these arms in it. That shit was badass. I ain't gonna front, bro. I felt like goddamn Terminator when he went in the gun store in the first movie, except I didn't shoot his ass. But so we go in the back. So dude, this motherfucker had a real nice Glock 19 that was brand new, beautiful, compact, of course. He had a 1911 that was beautiful. It was a gray and black 1911. That shit was sexy. 45. Oh my gosh. I love 45 ACP. Anybody that knows me knows I fuck with the 45 ACP pretty heavy. I do like the 9mm too, but the 45 ACP, I don't know. It's just something about larger rounds. And then the 45 ACP is usually pretty smooth if you're at the range. So, I mean, it doesn't kick back as much as a 40 does for some odd reason. And then, just the way that arm is built, man, it's a very nice arm. So I was looking at that shit like, damn, this is nice too. So then he had a Springfield Hellcat. Woo! That bitch was nice. I'm looking at that Springfield Hellcat like, oh, you about to be my wifey. Shit. God damn, that thing was nice. So I'm like, all right, bet. Shit held 13 rounds. So I'm talking to my man like, yo, all right, cool. I want this joint right here. So he started showing me AR pistols and, the stuff dealerships you would have down here. So, he had a AK-47 that was real nice too. I'm like, shit, he had the wooden handle on that. That shit was great. Wooden handle on and everything. So that was awesome. But I'm like, yeah, I can't do nothing with a large one right now. So I'd rather let's see what's up with the Springfield Hellcat. So we go to his office, which is in the front of his house, like right in his lobby of his house. So I mean, to be fair, I doubt anybody would try to break in a gun dealer's house and steal guns. That's like the worst thing you could do. Like, for you to do some shit, that's like trying to rob a gun shop. Like, nigga, what are you doing, yo? Why would you do this? But what made you choose this course of action? So I'm thinking in my head like, yo, this dude's he's very bold for doing this out of his house, but B, what you gonna do about it? Like, even if you wanted something out of there, you better come with some fiat or some credit, because you ain't coming in there strong arm and shit. So we sat down, and dude was real polite, man, real nice guy, yo, very easy to talk to, took about like maybe 5 minutes to complete the application. So I filled it out, and I put everything down there and we're gonna look at the I'm gonna go to the website and show y'all what I'm talking about pretty much. So I sit down and fill out the application and everything like that. And I filled it out the exact way we were told to fill it out pretty much, or the exact way that made sense for us to fill it out. So he gets on the computer and he has to take the paper application and put it on the computer. Now, I already knew in my head that would be an issue because computers are very binary. It's either you say exactly what they have programmed there for you to say, or they're not going to take the answer at all. And it's like that by design pretty much, because again, this is the public pretty much. This is a controlled system. So it's an artificial system also, so it can be designed to omit certain rights because it's not reality. It's basically a computer. It's digital. So with that said, I already knew it was kind of gonna be an issue with that offhand. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I got my passport here. So it took him. He never done a passport before. So he was like, yeah, I've never done a passport. I usually do driver's license and stuff like that. I said, no, it's cool, man. Just run the application, and if it doesn't go through, it'll get denied. That's fine. I'm good with that. He was like, oh, no problem, man. Cool. So just bear with me and be patient with me. I'm like, we can both figure this out. So he's doing everything online, and like it took him like probably about 15 minutes to put the information in because certain answers it didn't like when it asked you if you were a U.S. citizen or asked you what your citizenship was. He put in non-citizen. That's what, because it only had an option for citizen and non-citizen. That's back to that binary shit I was talking about. So it had citizen and non-citizen were the only two statuses available on the computer. So of course he puts in non-citizen, and then it said, well, if you're a non-citizen, what country are you from? And we all know that this is the kicker, because when you try to explain this shit to people, they might not get it. But he was like, whatever, just tell me what country you're from. I'll put it in. And if it takes, it takes. If it don't, we'll try to figure something else out. So I told him, well, I'm from the United States of America Republic. So he was like, okay. So he put in United States of America Republic. So he put that in. It wouldn't take Republic. So he says, well, it's not taking the Republic because it probably doesn't know what that is. So I already knew what time it was. I'm like, all right, bet. Let's do this. Then just put in the United States of America. So he puts in the United States of America, and it tries to shorten it to U.S. I was like, no, I'm not from the U.S. I'm not from Washington, D.C., 10 miles squared. So he was like, okay, all right. So let me try to just do something else. So he goes around somehow. And he ends up somehow putting in the United States of America, and it took that time. So boom, that was the first page. So he passed the first page. Second page, it asked for it was two different things it asked for. It asked for your passport number. It asked for your passport. If you have a passport, it asks you for that. You put that in, and then it asks you for the number. And then it asks you for some other weird shit too, which I didn't have. So and it was only asking for that because the place that I was from was Maryland. It wasn't the same state. So it was like, yeah, it has the sale can only be done in the same state as the state the person's identification shows that they live in. So you can't have let's say you move to Texas and you still have a Maryland driver's license, and you go to give them the driver's license, just theoretically, you give them a driver's license you want to buy, but let's say you move to Texas, but you don't have a Texas ID yet. You can't even fuck with it. You got to get a Texas driver's license, which is retarded because at the end of the day, that's a Second Amendment restriction. You know what I mean? That's an infringement. So he couldn't get around that. So he says, well, I can't do the application online, but all hope is not lost. I can call the FBI. And then he says, if that doesn't work, if they don't answer, I can't get through, I can call the NICS check, which is basically like a division of what it runs people for like previous offense, runs U.S. citizens for previous offenses. Now keep in mind, this dude had no idea he didn't even know he was the difference between a state citizen and a U.S. citizen. He didn't know the difference. He didn't know what an American national was. So I'm dealing with somebody that don't know nothing at this point. But it was cool because, like I said, I was prepared for this. So dude goes ahead and he calls up the FBI. The FBI doesn't even answer the phone. The division they had, I guess the Texas division or whatever, they don't even answer the phone, which was odd. Then he called NICS, and NICS didn't answer the phone. Then he had to call the ATF, the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So he calls them up, and so some lady answers the phone. So she's like, he's like, yeah, I'm trying to run an application, but I can't do it on the computer. Maybe you can help me through it. The guy has a passport. And she said, well, you can't fill out an application with a passport. You have to have a driver's license in the state of Texas. Basically, another U.S. citizen don't know what the fuck is going on. The state of like goddamn business. So basically, you got to be employed in this business to buy a firearm by what her standards were saying. So she says, yeah, you got to be basically you got to have a license in the state of Texas. So the dude was like, well, he doesn't have a license, but he has a passport and he's ready to pay. So is there any way we can make this work? So she says, well, where is he from? And he says, well, he's originally from Maryland. And he says he's not a U.S. citizen. So she says, well, if you're not a U.S. citizen, how can you have a driver's license, or how can you have an address? And she's like, where does he live? Where's his address or where he lives? So I put a care of address basically. So she was like, yeah, but you need to have a piece of documentation to show that. Like, if you're gonna use the passport, it has to be supporting documents with an address on it, basically, is what she was saying. So she was saying at first you can't use the passport because it doesn't have an address. Then she changed it later and said if you use the passport, you can use it, but you have to accompany it by proof of address, which made no fucking sense, because if you are a state citizen and the information gets ran like it's supposed to, and it comes back that you have all your goddamn rights, why the fuck should it matter where I live at? I could live on this goddamn street if I wanted to. I still got the right to bear arms. And if I have the funds to purchase, you're basically you're in hindering commerce at that point. So there's got to be some. I got to look at the United States Code for that one. So we keep in mind we have been sitting there for like 45 minutes now trying to get through this shit. So she gets on the phone and basically says you can't do it. So I said, let me talk to her. So I get on the phone with her and she's like, hello, she's some country lady. Yeah, you can't use your passport. And I'm like, okay, well, are you familiar with 18 United States Code Title 242? So I don't know what that is. I said, yeah, well, you about to find out. I want to go back and forth with her because ain't no point. So, make a long story short, I could not get the Springfield Hellcat because they would not, the guy would not, he couldn't sell it to me because the lady basically didn't know what the fuck was going on and she wouldn't approve the sale. So, now keep in mind, you still have the right to bear arms as, basically one of our constitutionally protected rights, not constitutional rights. That just stops the government from infringing, which basically is what the fuck just happened. So if the ATF tells you can't bear arms because you can't provide us with an address, that's still an infringement. It clearly says shall not be infringed on the Second Amendment. It's clear as fuck. Now, you can make the argument that U.S. citizens are a different thing, but we all know we ain't operating in a U.S. citizen jurisdiction. So that shit ain't even a debate for real. So here I am trying to, basically trying to do this through this man. This guy's like, yo, well, I would love to sell it to you, man, but there's no way I can't sell it because they'll come back on my ass. If something happens, they'll come back on my ass and I can lose my license and I can go to jail. I said, I wouldn't even expect you to do that, bro. At the end of the day, you did what you were supposed to do. You tried to get the application through and they basically hindered commerce. So they did two things. They hindered you from making some fiat and they basically deprived me of my Second Amendment. So what I went ahead and did was I informed my man, like, all right, well, this is what we're going to do. 18 United States Code Title 242 is what we're going to do. I reached out to a few of my other, we got a circle we operate in pretty much, or we basically function in. We got a circle. I already reached out to them and, we'll probably be contacting the Secretary of State. We'll probably be going after that ass. I got the lady's information. I got her office building she's in. I got her mailing address, all that good shit. So we'll probably have to create like an affidavit or something like that. And we'll probably have to send that in. Might have ended up suing her for that shit because, I'm down here in Houston. Houston is a beautiful area. Texas is dope. I'm down here just walking around and shit. And I'm bare ass basically. So, I don't have anything on me in terms of protecting myself. And anybody who knows me knows that's not how I roll. I always like to be able to protect myself because, you just never know what can happen. So, that's what it is, though. So, yeah, man, very interesting development there. So let me show you what I was talking about what I wanted to put on the screen real quick. So I wanted to show y'all this website. And this is from coppermoonshinestills.com. So you can read it for yourself. A lot of people ask me how to get the passport. And I've never done a video on it because some of that information is very sensitive. And everybody does not need to know this information because some people are fucking weird. All right, boom. So let's do this. Let me read it to you right here. All right, hold on. All right, so let's scroll all the way down where it says. I thought I had this right on the screen. Hold on a minute. I hate when this happens. Here it is right here. It's right there the whole time. All right, boom. When you buy a gun and fill out the form, do not check off that you have renounced your U.S. citizenship, which I did not. I did that right. You were never a U.S. citizen. So there's no citizenship to renounce. I have bought plenty of guns since. Not sure how I did that, but okay. And use my passport ID rather than a state ID. How did you do that without there being a without there being a address on there. But we'll continue. Again, not everyone understands this. Yeah, apparently the guy did not understand, and neither did the bitch behind the goddamn counter. So some gun dealers are apprehensive. He was not apprehensive. He was actually willing to try to run it. It just wasn't. He couldn't get it to go through. He didn't know how to get it to go through. Just tell them to run the application. If anything is wrong, they will deny it, which has never happened with anyone I know. And interestingly, many have reported buying guns outside of their state with no problem as they should be. Now, I can't say that I had that experience. You know, I came out here and I decided while I was out here to try my hand at grabbing one, and it did not pan out the way it should have. You know, so that's what it is pretty much. So if anybody has any, if you have any uh, experience or if you've ever dealt with something like this where you actually used your passport to get yourself an arm, please hit my email because I'm interested to hear your story. I'm very interested to hear the story about how you got it or what process you used or what you presented. I've heard some information which makes sense, and I was not prepared when I came down here with that information. I was basically told you could use you could like have the government mail you something like a piece of mail to the place you'll be staying at, and then you take that in and basically has your name and the address from that specific place, and you can use your passport as a supporting document, and it'll go through that way. Which I had no idea that you could do at that point. I wasn't even thinking about that shit, but pretty much ways around, I guess, for everything. But that was interesting stuff though. Um, yeah, so hey, that's basically what it is. So let me go back and make sure I miss no comments. Definitely. Yeah, definitely, Jeremiah. We can talk about the discharging thing. I admit I am slacking on my two-way rights and remedies being in New Jersey state, which is anti-arms and CC and open carry. Man, yo, the whole East Coast is fucked up. The East Coast is completely washed, bro, when it comes to the Second Amendment. Maryland is not as bad as New York. New York is goddamn Gestapo. You can't have shit out there, bro. You probably can't even have a knife in New York for real without getting harassed or something like that. But yeah, the East Coast is fucked up. Jersey's fucked up. I know about Jersey. And Maryland is fucked up. It's almost impossible to get you a CC permit, even as a U.S. citizen, pretty much, to get yourself a concealed carry there. New York is like, you're not getting one unless you're the mayor or the mayor or something like that. You're the mayor's next door neighbor. You ain't getting a CC, so forget about it. You can't even have certain arms there. So yeah, that's a wash. Where else? Pennsylvania is dope though, which is interesting because Pennsylvania is like right. I think it's right in between all those. But yeah, Pennsylvania is very easy to get you unless you live in Pittsburgh. Then it's fuck you. How about that? One city in the damn whole state. No, you cannot have a Second Amendment. But that all goes back to the shit. There's a lot of politics involved in that, man. I mean, it comes down to all these places have these strict gun laws, yet they have the most crime in terms of guns. People are blowing each other away left and right, yet there's so much restrictions on the Second Amendment. So you ask yourself, if the Second Amendment's been so heavily restricted there, and we're talking about for U.S. citizens, which they try to force you into being a U.S. citizen anyway. But if we're talking about them basically regulating their U.S. citizens, their wards of the state, that shit ain't working because they've got all these heavy ass fines and laws and ways that you can't bear arms without being harassed by their henchmen. And yet it's not fucking working because people are getting blown away left and right. Baltimore is a great example of that shit. People are tearing the fur off each other, bro. And most of them motherfuckers honestly couldn't even buy a gun, quote unquote, from a dealership. You think they give a fuck? You think that stops them from getting arms? Fuck no. They get them anyway. So there you have it. There you have it, man. A lot of those laws that are put in place, and it's bullshit. It's all politics. It's basically put in place so that the criminals keep doing what the fuck they doing and making the money. Those bonds keep getting collected from those people going to jail and shit. The lawyers stay in business. The mayors keep getting their raises and all that stuff. Commerce must continue. The jails, the private jails keep getting fed. The free labor they get and shit like that. It's a big cycle, man, and they don't give a shit about your safety. It ain't about they don't want nobody to shoot another person. If that was the case, you would go ahead and make it so that constitutional carry was nationwide so that, the person who has a pistol thinks twice about going to rob these motherfuckers over here. Because you go rob 5 people and they all got pistols and they pull them out on you, your ass is grass. And that's what it is. Yo, I can carry a lethal mini crossbow with a pick, but with a picture ID, but no bangs at all, even with background checks. A mini crossbow? Get the fuck out of here! Really? God damn! Oh, just how bad are these laws, man? Or these statutes and codes? I'm sorry, statutes and codes or laws with a lowercase l. Just how bad are they, man? How bad are they? I'll say, man. Look, all I'm gonna say is this. Um, this is why we have to make sure we have the information that we have, and we have to go around trying different shit, and we need to keep a network of us that keep this shit private. Some shit don't need to be on YouTube. That's why I don't do a lot of Second Amendment videos on YouTube. This will probably be the only and last one I do, because some of this stuff like this is, you gotta be careful who hands it gets in, because some people don't have their head screwed on right. That's one of the reasons I never did a passport video, how to get your passport and shit like that. As a foreign national, state citizen, such and such, because of that. But yeah, I wanted to off market product, 20 minutes flat, no questions, totally anonymous. Yeah. How about that, huh? How about that, man? How about that? But hey, it kind of makes you wonder, man, with our status, since they trying to jerk us over from law or legally, quote unquote, buying arms and shit, or bearing arms pretty much legally, which is bullshit anyway. Should we just turn to get them lawfully? So that's something to think about, man. So I told y'all this wasn't gonna be a long video. If anybody has any information, you watching this replay, you drop something in the comment section, or bang my email if it's private, yo. Now I'm gonna ask y'all to use discretion, because how to obtain arms why lawfully should be something that's very carefully expressed. I'm trying to say this the right way. It should be very carefully dealt with. Like, in other words, some shit just don't need to be public. Some shit needs to be private. So if you do have such, just slide me an email, let me know what it is, and then we'll keep it in the circle. Because again, you can't have just anybody out here being crazy, because unfortunately some people do have their heads not screwed on right. And I've seen people that had the passport try to abuse it and end up getting their asses locked up, unfortunately. So, but that's because motherfuckers don't know how to carry themselves. I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, so anyway, it is the foreign national. Yeah, I always fuck this up at the end. It is the foreign national born natural 86. Good talking to you guys. We'll be doing another live, probably. I might do another one. We'll see what happens with sometime this week. If not, it'll be as usual on Sundays. I won't be doing one tomorrow because I'm gonna be super busy running around and shit. So I ain't gonna have time to be back in the hotel doing that. So I'll holler at you guys on the next one. Peace out. One.